Welcome to Death by Podcast, the horror movie podcast, where we go through the alphabet, the entire alphabet, and pick a vintage-ish horror movie to talk about. I am your host, Adam. That is your other host,
Kevin.
And welcome, folks. Episode 31, the letter Z. Am I correct, Kevin, when I say, well, we've got a couple more to do that are going to fall into, be connected to our first run of the alphabet. But this is kind of like wrapping up season 1 of Death by Podcast. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
What a crazy thing. I didn't think about that till today. I guess we'll tack on into the season. Next week, our Ghostbusters. And then the following week will be our top 10. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll do like an award type thing.
Yeah. Let's do that. An award show.
Yeah.
Best Julian. Yeah. It's been crazy. So letter Z, Zombie High, 1987. This is something that I noticed at the video store back in the day, and I've never seen it. So, and I know you hadn't seen it either, right?
Nope.
I'm excited to talk about it. But before we get there, let's see. You said Rob Zombie was a lazy dickhead this week.
Yeah, and I posted some more pictures of chairs.
All right, fair enough. For those interested, and you should all be interested, we did for our Patreon exclusive podcast, the mini podcast we do, BoobTube TV. We just talked about the real Ghostbusters cartoon season 1, episode 11, which bridges the gap between the first movie from 84 and the Ghostbusters cartoon. So it's kind of like in continuity, kind of. And the reason I say that is because Ghostbusters Afterlife comes out tomorrow, maybe technically today, and Kevin's going to see it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see it on Monday. And then next week we're talking about that and the whole franchise. So check us out on Patreon if you want to hear us talk about the cartoon. What else? What'd you watch? Anything this week? Anything else?
Did I watch? I watched The Haunting of Hill House. I watched the first episode.
Okay.
I really liked it.
Awesome.
But I have to watch it late.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I think your wife would like that. She's not watching it with you?
She's like, I'm not. I put on the first one. She's like, you out of your mind? She's not into being scared.
Oh, really?
So,
wait,
yeah.
Did you say she watched Midnight Mass?
She watched the first episode.
Oh.
And she fell asleep during the second one, but she was into it.
I would think that she would be into Hill House more. I mean, it is scary, but I don't know.
Yeah, I might try that one for, I don't know.
But that's the one you gotta really pay attention to the background. So don't be sleepy.
That's what I hear. That's what
don't be sleepy
says.
Time on that.
Nothing too crazy this week I can think of.
All right, fair enough. I watched the new. I watched every week. New episode of Chucky, the series. Finally, what is this? I think this was episode 5 or 6.
6.
Mm-hmm. And you haven't watched any, right?
I haven't. I'm waiting, I think, for all of them to be out.
This was the first. This one had the return of Jennifer Tilly and the girl. It's actually Brad Dourif's daughter who plays the crippled woman in Curse of Chucky, I think. So, and she makes her return. You haven't seen that one because she's such a cool character, but I don't know. I don't want to blow it, but
yeah, I haven't.
Blow that movie. That movie I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the series.
No, I haven't seen Curse of Chucky.
Man, it's so good because like her character is now she's in Curse, Cult, and then the series takes place after Cult.
So I can start because I saw Seed and it was awful.
Yeah, you've seen all the old stuff.
So I can start at Curse,
and
then it's Cult,
and then Cult,
and then the series,
and they're both really good. And you've got them both on our thing, so check those out. Because yeah, she comes in with the Jennifer Tilly character, and then after that you get adult. What's the kid's name?
Andy.
So you get adult Andy from.
No shit.
Also from Cult. He's in Cult. Same actor.
Same actor? Really?
Yep. So it's all this Don Mancini, man. He's bringing it back. Like he's doing it right. And anyway, the episode is so cool, man. Chucky the doll, how they use him. I think he's 100% practical. I want to say, like, he looks so cool. You know,
that's awesome.
And I'm just thankful for the series because it got me to rewatch the movies, which I really enjoyed, especially that first one. So anyway, what else did I watch? Dude, I watched this movie called The Willies. You ever heard of this?
Maybe.
I'll just brief. It's like it's a sort of anthology framed by 3 kids in a tent telling spooky stories to each other. One of the kids is Sean Astin, Samwise Gamgee.
Yep.
Goonies. So the movie was made in 1990, I believe. So it's after Goonies. they each take a turn telling stories. And it starts out, the first like 3 stories are like 5 minutes each. And they're really good. One of them is like old lady with the dog in the microwave, and like microwave just explodes in this dog. For a minute, I thought they were really microwaving a dog. What was the other one? A woman, gigantic, morbidly obese, fat chick, goes into the Kentucky Fried Chicken or whatever, orders a 15-piece bucket of chicken for herself, sits down, and she's just, her mouth is gross. And she's just like, the way she, it's just so gross. They did it so well. And she sits down and takes a bite of the chicken and realizes it's a rat, it's a fried rat, which I guess these are kind of based on like urban legend. And then the bulk of the movie are these two longer stories. One of them is a janitor who kind of watches over, a janitor at a school who watches over the kids, and it ends up he's a monster wearing like a skin suit, who eats the bullies. and he's played by your boy from, so it's got a lot of the cast from Return of the Living Dead. The older guy, there's the old guy and the young guy that are like together.
Yeah.
So what's the old guy's name? Do you know him?
In the movie, his name's Frank, I think. His name's not Frank.
The actor, you don't know the actor?
No, I don't. I don't off the top of my head now.
Okay. So he's the janitor, the main guy. It's also got, I know the actor's name is Clue. His first name's Clue. He's the owner of the warehouse or the store where the dude I was just talking about and the young guy.
That's Frank.
Okay, that's Frank. Okay, so he's in it too. Anyway, that one was pretty decent.
One of them's Frank. I don't remember. I just remember one of them is referred to as Frank a lot.
Sure, anyway. I remember that. And then the second story was just this creepy kid who is addicted to like obsessed with flies, and he catches them and pulls their wings off, and then it was dumb. It made the whole movie not worth watching, but the beginning of it was actually pretty good. There's even a part where one of the kids goes, that janitor's story wasn't true. And Sean Astin was telling it. And he's like, oh yeah, it was. My dad will tell you. And then the kid goes, you think just because you and your friends found a bunch of pirate treasure in a cave a few years ago, like, it's like, and Astin's like, yeah. So I guess it's the same character from Goonies.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I'm going to look this movie up. The Willies.
Yeah. Where did I watch it? I think it's on Tubi.
That's got to be like
Tubi or YouTube. It was 1990.
That's like pre-Toy Soldiers.
Is that a Sean Astin movie?
Oh yeah, man.
Oh, okay.
That movie's badass.
What's that about?
It's about a prep, like, I don't know if it's a prep school. It's kind of like an army type prep school, a military school that gets taken over by like real, like another military kind of deal. I saw it years ago.
Like Red Dawn?
Sort of, except it takes place in a prep school. And
check it out.
they're our first line of defense.
The preps?
Like, yeah. Well, no, they're like military. Like they're all like kind of like Ralph Macchio's in it.
No shit.
I
hate him.
I feel like I'm making this movie up as I go along, but I'm pretty sure it exists.
No, it does. Toy Soldiers. I've heard of it. Yeah. So anyway, The Willies is worth watching like the first 30 minutes and then just being like, whatever. What else I watch? Oh, this isn't whatever, but Shang-Chi. Did you watch that yet?
No. In fact, I didn't have any interest in I caught like a half a second of something, just like some random shot. And I was like, that looks awesome.
It was great.
Yeah. I want to watch. All of a sudden, I really want to watch it.
It was the only gripe I have is the music. It was a little too boppy teen stuff. Great movie, man. Great. I won't say anything, but great spoilers. Great spoilers. Great cast. Great cast. Great effects. The sound design was awesome. The best part of it was culturally. I feel like it was everything that Black Panther thought it was or wanted to be or told us it was. Black Panther, I'll keep this short, but Black Panther, like, I didn't care for the movie. The action was too cartoony. T'Challa was a side note. The best characters, Claw and Andy Serkis, and what's the guy we were just talking about?
Michael B. Jordan.
They kill them both. It's like, what are you doing? And then as far as culturally, it's like we saw Wakanda from a ship, and then we saw one street. In Shang-Chi, they get you into the village, the Chinese culture. A lot of it is in Chinese with subtitles, or some of it, not a lot of it, but also culturally, there's things in it visually that you and I and everybody in America has seen every time a movie uses Chinatown as a setting. Mm-hmm. Like the parades with the dragons and firecrackers. Big Trouble in Little China comes to mind. In this, we actually see them like brought to life, and it's so cool. This is really good, man.
I'll check it out. I like Black Panther.
I know you do. I think it's garbage.
I think it's overrated, but I think it's really good.
It's overrated. Yeah. It's got
but
cool
I feel the same way about Get Out. I think Get Out, I really love Get Out. Yeah. However, I think people flipped out a little too hard about it.
It's a little. It's anymore. Yeah. It's
you know what I mean? Like I think there was a lot of pandering going on with that. With the way people reviewed it.
Sure.
You know,
it happens. Black Panther does have that cool scene where she throws her wig at a guy. That's awesome. I like that. No, she was the best part. Okoye, she was awesome.
Yeah, she was great.
So yeah, check it out. I didn't want to see Shang-Chi when it was first talked about. And then as the marketing went on, I was like, this looks interesting. And there's a couple other reasons that I would be spoilers, but after you see it, we'll talk about it more.
Okay.
I think that's it. Oh, and this also has nothing to do, but we were talking about Star Wars earlier. There's a Boba Fett special on Disney Plus that's like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
I didn't watch it, but I saw that it exists.
It's cool.
I was going to text you about it, actually.
It's cool. It's very glossing over, but I'm pretty sure it's the most up-to-date small interview with George Lucas that we have at the moment. And man, he's gotten old.
Does he say like, who's Boba Fett?
I was actually waiting for him to sort of say something like that.
He might know who he is now because it's, but
yeah,
pretty sure
Boba Fett.
He had pretty sure he had no idea who Boba Fett was.
Anyway, that's what I watched. Oh, I want to show you these. I'll post pictures, but I don't know if you can see them. Some brand new oil slick holographic Death by Podcast boob tube TV stickers. Are they coming through?
They're very cool. Very cool.
It's the logo for BoobTube TV, which is our Patreon podcast. It's the logo that Eric Wolfgang drew for us, which is like the skull with the boob tube. And I love this fucking thing. It's so good. So there was like a sticker sale for Vinyl Disorder, and I got some. And then I restocked our regular ones
for Death Podcast stickers.
Yeah, without these are like the variants. This is without the Instagram thing at the bottom, so it's just the artwork. Cool. So those are available on Patreon. You can go check that out if you're interested. Patreon.com/deathbypodcast. That's all I got. Should we get into this movie?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right. The letter Z. This is our final letter of the alphabet. Zombie High, 1987. The title is a complete lie. This is Zombie College. Am I correct?
No, it's a zombie prep school.
What? These people are like 37 years old.
Oh, yeah. She was, I think I looked it up. I think she was 28 when Virginia Madsen shot this.
There's no reason for you to think that it's a high school prep or a prep, whatever. What'd you say? College prep school?
It's a college prep school. It's at the beginning.
Really? They say?
Yeah, they talk about it. Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
It is a prep school. But it does seem like a college. I mean, they have dorms. They're all staying there. Like, nobody lives, is from there. It's,
if you're going to do a movie called Zombie High, make it in high school, like an actual high school.
Yep.
And have zombies in it.
Yeah, maybe have zombies in a movie called Zombie High.
So I'm not going to start out dogging this movie. I really liked it at the beginning. The ending fell apart, but
I did too until I was like, what is going on? Like, the beginning is like, okay, cool, I'm into this.
Yeah.
And then it's called Zombie High, right? Like, this isn't like, it's just,
spit it out.
A good like 40 minutes goes by and you're just watching like relationship type shit with like this girl and her boyfriend and her teacher. Yeah. And I'm like, what is this, man?
All right. Let me give you this cast. So directed by Rob Link, your favorite, starring Virginia Madsen, Candyman,
Sideways,
Frasier. Have you seen her in Frasier?
Nope.
She has a really awesome arc in season like 6 or 7. It's hilarious. She's great. I said this before. What was it? The first year of HorrorCon that she was there?
No, she was there. Was she the first?
It wasn't this last one.
I don't know.
I feel like it was the Lance Henriksen year, the first.
Yeah,
year.
Probably.
Because I was going to ask her out. I was going to do something really weird and just say, "Hey, can I buy you, some ice cream or pudding or I don't know. What does she have? What is she like? I don't know.
I don't know her.
She's like really old. I just thought it would be off the wall to do, but she's still really pretty. Anyway, Virginia Madsen,
sister of Michael Madsen, Mr. Blonde.
No shit, sister.
Yeah, the brother and sister.
I'm so glad I didn't ask her out, man. Can you imagine having that
Mr. Blonde as like a brother-in-law?
But in real life, that dude's a maniac.
Yeah,
like,
he's awesome.
He's had some bad mental issues recently, I think. I don't want to say anything because he'll come after me.
You want to hear a quick
Absolutely.
Michael Madsen. It's not even a Michael Madsen story. It is, but it's not. So the movie theater that I go to, they have a lot of really cool props, and they have big movie events a lot of the time where they have people that were in movies and they screen the movies and do Q&As and all this cool shit. Like they have the egg that Austin Powers was in and they froze him.
Okay.
And like shit like that. And it's half movie theater, half museum. One of the things they have, so they had they played Kill Bill. They had a double feature, and Michael Madsen was there. David Carradine was there.
That's awesome.
I went. It was awesome. But they had a sword signed by Michael Madsen, like a Hattori Hanzo sword. And if I remember right, I want to say he brought it, but that can't be right. But if I remember right, that's how it went. Anyway,
like he walked in to watch a movie with a sword.
Well, like he did the Q. I don't remember the details, but like, yeah, he had. Anyway, it was a sword. It was a prop from the movie.
Okay.
So okay. And he signed it, and like it was at, and it would sit where they had it was right. Like when you walk into one of the theaters, it was like where the poster is to tell you what movie you're going to. That's where it sits next to one of the Wilson balls from Castaway.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So Wilson. One day this last year, I was in this theater and it wasn't there, and I was like, "That's weird." Like the Wilson ball was there, but the sword like stand was there, but the sword wasn't there.
Oh, this is true.
And I noticed it 2 or 3 times, and I asked I went to the bartender.
Anthony Michael Hall took it to go chop somebody up.
Well, I went to the bartender and I said, because I usually get to the movies at this theater a little early because they have a really nice bar and you can sit and bullshit and their staff is really cool. And so I was sitting in the bar and I'm talking to this guy and I said, like, what happened to the Kill Bill sword? Like, you guys had it. That's one of the coolest things in here. And they're like, we don't know. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, it was just gone. Like, what do you mean? He's like, we don't know who stole it. Someone either stole it or it's just gone. We don't know.
Weird.
And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, was the case just not locked? What was the story? And he's like, I don't think any of these cases are locked. Like, there's no locks. I'm like, what? Like, it was just fucking insane. Someone just literally was walking out like, yep, I'm taking this, and just walked right out the door, man. And it made me think, like, I'm gonna go grab Wilson right now.
Yeah, if you get Wilson, give it to me. That's crazy, dude.
I know.
Also, because like I own a sword and I own another one. I gave it to my brother. But I would never want to own a sword without the sword holder. So there's a dude out there walking around with a sword and no holder. He's totally going to cut like his dick off or something. I don't know.
I imagine it's probably, I want to say it even had the sheath. I don't remember. It was on the, anyway, I just always was like, you had a sword from the movie signed by Michael Madsen. And I think David Carradine, and you fucking.
Dude, David Carradine. He's got a cameo in Waxwork too. It's hilarious. It's so weird. Speaking of, you mentioned Austin Powers. Why did you say that? I forget.
Because that's one of the biggest ones they have. And they, one of the props. Right. It's the giant egg that like he comes to the future with. Yeah.
Okay. I hate those movies, but it's funny you say that because I don't know if you noticed Jay Roach, the director of those movies and a bunch of other more quality movies, was a camera operator on Zombie High.
Really?
Yeah, I saw his name. I was like, "Nah, is that the same dude?" And I looked him up. I was like, "Sure enough."
Didn't he? I think he directed Wedding Crashers.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah, he did a bunch of he did a bunch of Oscar stuff recently. It's weird. All right, Virginia Madsen, sister of Michael Madsen, Sherilyn Fenn from Twin Peaks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Feig, arguably the best part of this movie, I think.
Yeah, I liked watching him. Well, you don't even get to watch him die. It's just
he was hilarious. I'm gonna
we'll get to Paul Feig. Fuck Paul Feig.
So Paul Feig, sure, but I liked him in this. Julian Woods, James Woods' brother, plays the professor.
Funny story about that guy. No.
Richard Cox. Richard
I don't
Cox.
know.
Looks exactly like James Woods, no?
I guess now that you say that, I didn't think so.
All right.
I mean, I could. Nah.
Funny story about him.
I was gonna say I have a prop signed by Simon. Someone stole
a sword signed by him.
Yeah.
I wrote down a couple other names. I don't know who they are. K.E. Cutter. Oh, that's the dean, I think. And then Paul Williams was supposed to be in this movie. You'd recognize him, but he wasn't in this movie. I don't know. Weird. He was in the credits. And then Chad, the main hero guy, James Wilder, who I looked him up. Dude, this guy in this movie, he's a badass, and he does all his own in the scenes. He does all his own jumping and running and crazy shit that he does. He's the most
motorcycle guy.
Yeah, he's the most like active person in this movie. And I was for sure and he's super fit looking, but I thought for sure it would say like, yeah, he's a parkour professional or something, but nothing. He was just on a soap opera at some point. That's about it. What, you got a story about him?
No.
So the movie,
you know what this movie, right? I've always said, people talk about what order to show your kids the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
1 through 6 or 4 through 6 and then 1 through 3. I've always said, I'm kind of more of a cynical prick than you. I've always said, well, you show them 4, 5, and 6, and then you take 1, 2, and 3, and you throw them in the fucking garbage. And then that's it. You don't ever tell them that there's a 1, 2, and 3. Sure. But what I've always said about the prequels is like if I were to tell my kids what happens in them, they would sound cool.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Where they fuck up is the execution. If I say no, I mean,
sure.
And
the visuals mostly.
Yeah, the robbing of Owen Lars. We'll talk about that later. Anyway,
why are you so obsessed with Owen Lars?
Because we can get into the Uncle Owen thing if you want, but
no, yeah, I don't. But just briefly, why?
It's just the biggest missed opportunity of the prequels. Like, to me,
why, you think he's a Jedi?
No, but like, I mean,
Sith?
no. Think about that. Think about the potential there for like a story in the like.
He's just like
the fact. That's my point. But he didn't have to be. He could have been a major part of the story, which he should have been. It should have been
in episode 4. Are you saying that there's more in episode 4? I'm talking
4, if they do the prequels.
Yeah,
Owen should have been a major part of he should have been Darth Vader's brother. That like he knows all the whole. Not just a guy that Owen goes and dumps a kid on. That does like it makes no sense for him to even have the kid.
Wait, what am I missing? Darth Vader.
I'm saying if I were to write the prequels, he would be as prominent a character as Obi-Wan.
I think that's what Obi-Wan is, though. It's like,
but I mean, you can have like that could be like a whole thing, like that's like he could be torn between like his family and this, and like, or even have fucking, like there's all this potential there for Anakin's brother, and they don't do any of it. They just like, no, he's just a guy who lives in the desert that met Anakin once for like 5 seconds and said, "This is my girlfriend, Brew." That's still the weirdest thing that he says girlfriend.
Yeah, Star Wars shouldn't have girlfriends. They should have.
It's weird that he says girlfriend.
They should have star mates.
Yeah, something. But like, to me, I mean, this is a whole thing. We're probably gonna have to cut this.
No, that's fine.
One of these days, I'll go on a whole rant about like.
I just don't see
the potential there is so much better. Like,
I just don't see it.
I just think it's a missed opportunity to not develop that character. If you're gonna go back, you don't have that many characters to begin with, and like that's a really interesting thing. That like not like he's gonna make him stay here because he thinks that's what's best for Luke, and you know what I mean. Like I like that he has a different ideology than Ben or Anakin. You know what I mean? And finds value in different things. And
in episode 4, he says when they bring up Obi-Wan, it's like he's just a crazy old wizard. So to me, that says that Owen just lived the simple farmer's life. That's episode 4 right there. So I don't see any room in the prequels for him to be anything else.
I mean, he could have been. Oh, he could have been a potential Jedi.
Why? Where do you get that from? Where do you get that from?
What if he like was in Jedi school or like?
What if he was James Bond?
I mean, like what if he instead of even being a Jedi, what if he was like part of? You know what I mean? He was out kicking ass with those two.
What I'm saying is Lucas in episode 4 like kind of told us he's just a simple farmer.
That's where he winds up. You know, he maybe some shit went down. Maybe it was like, you know what? My brother just became Darth Vader and killed a bunch of people. Maybe I'm just going to live on this moisture farm and fuck.
Where are you getting his brother from? Why do you say that?
Because he's Uncle Owen.
Right. To Luke. But to Luke, I don't think there's any connection to Anakin.
Well, there's not now because they didn't bother to do it, but there could have
created something. Okay.
Yeah. And it doesn't make sense that like, oh, he should be with his family that met his parents once for an hour.
I get that.
He slaughtered a whole village.
But that's because I don't include Anakin, a tie between Anakin and Owen and Beru. I don't attribute that tie because of Anakin. That's Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan made the choice to bring them in.
Why?
Anakin. I don't know. Because he met them once, and they were nice.
But Obi-Wan didn't even meet him.
I don't know. Did he? I don't know.
What if he went up to it? Yeah. Like, what if he was like, "Hey, would you mind taking this baby?" They're like, "Whose baby is it?" Anakin, you mean the guy that came here and slaughtered a whole village of people and left? He brought my dead wife.
Obi-Wan was like, who are the most simple, safe, obscure, and for all the reasons that you're saying, he needed Luke to be in the hands of someone that had no ties to Anakin. That's the whole point. Because otherwise,
not crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Because like otherwise, he would feel Luke and feel Leia and whatever.
It's not crazy. I mean, it's fine the way it is. I'm saying that I feel like it's a giant.
You could create something there, yes, but I don't think that the seeds are there. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, I think it's all seeds. It's like when he says like
I get a shirt that says it's all seeds.
When he's like, I can't go right now. I got this, I got that, and he goes, "That's your uncle talking."
Yeah,
and he goes, "And like that sounds like I know your uncle, and he's a prick." Like,
but he knows him. He knows him post Sith, Revenge of the Sith. We're gonna see that in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. We're gonna see. I think you might get what you're asking for.
That's all I want. I want major development.
You just want fucking. The uncle,
I want justice for Owen and Baru.
All right.
I want them to be major.
Two
players.
Shirts. If there's anybody out there who makes shirts, justice for Owen, and it's all seeds. Get in touch with us. We'll get them in Kevin's hands.
I'm telling you, man. He got hosed in the prequel trilogy.
Man. What's his name? What's the actor's name? He's big time now.
Oh, that plays young Owen.
Yeah, Warrior.
Oh my God, how am I?
Joel
Edgerton.
Edgerton. Yeah, he's big time. Nobody knows who he is, but he's big time.
He's got not to go on. He's got the funniest. Have you ever seen the movie The Gift with him and Jason Bateman?
No.
So it's like kind of a thriller. It's okay. It's not great. But he just plays this like kind of creepy guy who kind of inserts himself into Jason Bateman and his wife's life. But what's hilarious, he plays just a creepy guy and whatever. The cover of the box is the funniest shit ever because I don't know if this must have been a studio or something because the cover of the box is just him holding. The name of the movie is The Gift, and it's him holding a giant present, and that doesn't happen at all in the movie. Like the movie is like he's a creep and just kind of hangs around and like
is the gift.
But like that, yeah, like The Gift is like, but like it's him holding a giant present.
It's awesome.
It's like an Enemy Mine when they were like, you know what this movie needs? An actual mine that otherwise people aren't going to get it. Like it's that kind of thing. Anyway, I already go on so many tangents, but do yourself a favor, look up the cover of The Gift and realize that that's not a thing that happens in the movie.
You've seen Warrior, right?
Yeah, the MMA movie.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, there's this movie, Zombie High. It's kind of like a mix between Get Out, Stepford Wives, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, except not even remotely close to any of those. So
because that sounds amazing.
It starts off so well, man. It's got this really cool like thriller-esque what's it called, the title sequence.
Oh yeah, whatever. The title is,
dude, it's like bam, it's like Zombie High. It's like, oh shit, it's got, the opening is amazing. It's got this like John Hughes montage Revenge
kids
of the
doing
Nerds,
high school shit and
kids coming to the school. I guess school's in session.
I knew you were gonna watch it. I'm like, oh, Adam's gonna love this.
Oh man, I was so into it. I was like, if this movie goes in like a weird like Revenge of the Nerds, John Hughes, but with zombies, I was like, man, this is gonna be. And it had like a Teen Wolf vibe to it, and that kind of carried on for a little bit.
Way too long.
Well, no, like I'm saying, like that vibe, that good.
Yeah. I know
like,
what you mean.
Oh, this is gonna be a good movie. It carried on for not long enough, a little bit, and
yeah, you're right.
Turned into this like sort of mystery,
this weird like love triangle with a teacher, and yeah, it turned into a different thing.
So Virginia Madsen and Cheryl Flynn, Twin Peaks. They're roommates in like a super cool dorm that doesn't exist in real life, with a lot of like dark wood and stuff.
Giant dorm,
not
as big as the one in
what was that?
Urban Legend, right?
Where
they have a fucking apartment floor to themselves, but you know,
that movie didn't cross my mind once watching this, but now that you say it, it's like there's a lot of, I don't know, there's a few similarities, but and then you know, there's the third roommate. She's like one of the first to become. You know where she's from?
No.
Waxwork. She was the one.
Really?
You know, there was the extra couple
that came in at the end.
Yeah, and she was like the girl who was like, told Billy, she was like, take me, and like he just blew her away or something with a shotgun. Virginia Madsen, she's like new to this thing, school. Right off the bat, her boyfriend, like Chad, is standing there. And then Julian Woods comes walking up, and they kind of like, he's creepy professor guy. You know that there's going to be this like, love triangle, like this tension between the three of them. It turns out, I'm going to cut to the chase. It turns out that Julian Woods is a 102-year-old, I don't know what you'd call him, almost like a warlock, but not magical, because the dean of the school years ago found this serum that mixed, I think, blood and brains, they said, of people in order to like maintain their youth.
Yeah.
Weird. It's a weird explanation. And the way, and Julian Woods created this crystal, like he chopped off pieces of a crystal to implant in their brains to control people. And that's where the zombie aspect comes from.
He's essentially he's lobotomizing people and making them, but the way they like justify it is that he's not making them brain dead. He's just making them
controllable.
Yeah. Not even, almost. I mean, I got the sense. Yeah. They just become like,
because they're playing that music.
It takes away their individuality.
That's where you get like the sort of Body Snatchers.
Get
Out vibe. Like it's similar idea. Throughout the whole movie, Virginia Madsen is uncovering this plot because her friends keep disappearing and then reappearing. Most of them reappear, and they're like brainwashed, part of the crew. But the best part of this movie, man, I'm serious. Like Paul Feig, the scene in the cafeteria, like he's like the dork that keeps trying. He's
like the ducky.
Yeah, he is. And that's a good example. Dude, the scene in the cafeteria when Virginia Madsen goes, no potatoes, please. And whoever's serving the food just piles on the mashed potatoes anyway. Mm-hmm. And then Paul Feig leans in and he goes, you give me potatoes and I'll kill your entire family. And then the guy slaps the potatoes on anyway. And then under his breath, he just says, I guess I wanted my chicken to be a la mode today anyway. It was like excellent comedy delivery that ended when they killed him off. I mean, he didn't really have very many other scenes.
They kill him off kind of off screen. They just kind of find his body too.
And he didn't have nearly as good dialogue.
I didn't mind Paul Feig's performance or his character. I thought they probably should have just combined, especially if that's how he's going to go out, like just combine him with another character.
Sure.
Like what, because there's 2 or 3 other characters, the same thing where like they establish them and then later on in the movie, it's like, oh, they're dead now. Like,
but this guy Feig had he was the comedy in the movie. And once he was gone, man, this thing it went from a really like sort of cheesy, fun. Yeah. Possible horror comedy to this, like it started taking itself way too seriously.
Yeah. I mean, he is the most likable character in the movie.
Yeah.
By
and
far.
Once he's gone, it's just like dreary. And what are we doing anymore? Like, why bother? It wasn't like wretchedly terrible because there were some cool, Chad got some really cool action scenes. I took pictures of my TV instead of like screen capping anything. I like to do that instead. The scene where he's in, for some reason, the group of they're not even zombies. They're just mindless.
Well, they're
students.
I don't even know how to put it, man. Like,
they are zombies. Yeah.
But not
in the voodoo sense, not in the
sort of
supernatural sense.
Yeah.
You think that's what they are implying when they titled this movie that they were, because this is 1987. Okay, we've had
at the end they're not zombies, but I know, like they look like zombies. That must have been a note being like, hey man, like you got to put something
zombies in here. I mean, it's 87, so at this point we've had all the great zombie movies have happened, and to title your movie Zombie High and then not put a single zombie in it when zombie effects were Romero painted people blue. It's like, give me something, man.
I mean,
it's so weird. It's such a weird title. The scene,
everything's there. Like the story is a neat idea.
You've got mad scientists chopping people up in one,
and there's all sorts of like you could do like the moral dilemma. Like, okay, well he's not technically killing anybody, and like so he's just, if you want to take it seriously, you can do that. But like they don't do any. The
way that they set it up,
and then he just changes his mind halfway through the movie. Like there's
you're talking about Julian.
Yeah, like there's no.
He grows a conscience, kind of.
Yeah, but there's I don't know, maybe I missed it, but he didn't seem conflicted with it at all at the first half of the movie.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, like I guess he likes Virginia Madsen, and they're like, nah, fuck her, we're gonna turn her into a zombie too. And he just says like, and then all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I know I've been doing this for 300 years, but I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just gonna stop doing it. Like, just completely changes his mind, and
it is weird that he hasn't fallen.
It's very abrupt.
Yeah, he hasn't fallen in love, I guess, ever in his hundreds of years of life. Virginia Madsen is like his awakening almost. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't fit. He's creepy as fuck. Like he's always there, and it's always when Chad's around, and like,
well, he's a teacher that's going after his high school student.
Well, and that's even worse because like,
and he's like 400 years old.
I thought it was college. You know what I was thinking about was You're Next, when the brother at the dinner table, and the brother under his breath, like, that's kind of unprofessional. It's like,
no, this is high school, man, and like it's not even that big a deal. Like it's
my framing for this movie has changed in this conversation so much because I really thought it was college this whole time, which knowing it's high school changes the whole dynamic of of everybody involved.
Yeah, because it's not seen as it's not frowned upon at all. It's just another like I kind of want to hook up with this he's just seen as another potential hookup.
Well, and a couple times throughout, the dean, who's like extremely old, and his like Illuminati posse, they kind of give him shit. They're like, are you your feelings for this girl? And it's like, no, dude, they should be saying, yo, man, statutory rape. Like,
I mean, it is 1986.
I know, but like, I mean, they're just kind of like, your feelings for this girl are getting in the way of our science. And and it's like, no, dude, it's illegal. Like, what he's
have you ever seen Manhattan?
What is it?
Manhattan, Woody Allen.
Yeah, it's good. A long time ago.
It's a really good movie, but he's dating a 15.
Right?
Yeah. No. That's, are you thinking of Diane Keaton?
No. I'm thinking of the blonde chick. It's black and white, right? Manhattan.
Yeah, black and white. Yeah. But yeah, so it's
Muriel Hemingway.
Like, okay,
right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
okay.
He's dating. She's 15 or 16. He gets like some resistance from his friends, where it's like, "How you doing? You're crazy. She's 15 years old." Like, it's more of like, it would be like if you started dating a 20-year-old. Be like, what are you doing? She's 20. You can't even bring her anywhere. Like that's I
don't go to bars, so
that's the level. Yeah, that they're talking to him about. Nobody is like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're 40 years old.
Didn't Woody Allen do that in real life? Isn't that why he got in trouble?
No, he married his stepdaughter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When she was of age. Fine. Jerry Seinfeld dated a 17-year-old while he was on the show.
When my first girlfriend, I was 22. She was 17. Don't tell anybody. Okay.
That's not that crazy. Jerry Seinfeld was in his like mid-30s.
I'm saying she was underage.
Yeah, but that's
Dude, the end of Manhattan, now that you remind me, is a phenomenal ending. When they're saying goodbye to him and the girl. Man, I love that.
That's fine. I wouldn't have taken you for a Woody Allen guy.
Dude, I love Woody Allen. I love Kevin. This, you probably don't know this about me. I love a good romance. And that wasn't a good romance by any means, but it's one of those movies. I love a good like Woody Allen, One Fine Day, your Clooney's, rom-coms, chick
interesting flicks. Yeah, I could work with that. I've got some good.
I think it stems from my love for John Hughes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, I'm with you.
Woody Allen does some good stuff, but this is not that. and it doesn't even come close to some kind of, dude, the scene where like, the pin toy, whatever, the life size, talk about where you put your face in it.
And I've never seen one that big.
I've never seen one that big.
I want one.
So in the 80s, I guess it was the 80s.
They were in the 90s too. But
that was
the
thing, dude. I remember the first time I saw that, where like you put it on your face and all of a sudden your face is in the pins.
I never had one, but I when someone else would, like, you go to someone's house, be like, oh, and that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah. And they could, so in this movie that he has Julian has a life-size one.
Yeah. Like a person-sized one.
And they could have used that so well. I mean, at the end, they kind of creep up to it where I guess it's the dean is in it and she's in the apartment, and then he comes out from around and grabs her, but they could have used that just in some really cool way, and they didn't.
You could kill someone with it. You know what I mean? Like, that would be neat.
Like, they're on the ground, you push it on them, and it's like,
no, like, yeah, like, and you step on, like you see that, like, they're, they get the Han Solo look, and then you step on the pins, and then like blood shoots out. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, which is what they do. Did you find it weird that 3 people in this movie use it, and they all do the Han Solo thing? It's like there's a million different things you could do. I guess I would do.
There's not really. There's this is all you could do. What else are you gonna do? You could like give like double fingers.
When I had one, I would do it with my mouth wide open, facing forward.
Yeah, of course.
And
no one goes face forward,
like,
which is weird.
Those dirty ass pins that have been all over someone else's face would go in my mouth, but you could see your mouth shape on it.
Yeah,
there's a lot you could do with it.
Yeah, with the life size one, you could make it look like you have like 10 arms.
Yeah,
you could do cool shit,
dude. You could be like, oh no, like a mutant has been here, and 10 arms, and then it's like, no, you idiot, I just did that myself.
You push your boobs up like if you were Virginia Madsen.
Sure,
you know.
Like, yeah, there's so many things.
Yeah,
they didn't do that though in this movie.
They didn't do it like everything else in this movie.
This movie is filled with stuff
that
they go, hey, look at this pudding. Cool, right? No, we're not going to eat it.
Yeah, it's everything in this movie.
It's like you see these chopsticks. No, we're going to use a fork. It's like, what are you doing? Oh man, but I did enjoy. I'm trying to think. I laughed several times. Most of it was in the beginning. Paul Feig. There was another time. I've totally lost track in my notes now, but I have a friend who, Dan Polydorus of Death by Toys. Go check his stuff out. It's awesome. He says this, and apparently people say this, and I had just heard it for the first time the other day. The way that he used it, he was at his sister's wedding. He was seated at a table next to a guy he didn't know and didn't want to be there and whatever. But turned out this guy was like a super nerd, knew all this cool stuff. And my friend Dan looks over at his sister and goes, Christine, your boy over here fucks.
Yeah, I've heard people say that before.
I've never heard that, and I'm not going to start saying it, but I did write that Chad fucks. There's several scenes. The bike scene is one where he runs, he jumps, and it's the actor. He jumps over this tree hedge bush thing, almost lands on his bike, puts his motorcycle helmet on, and zooms away. And then all of a sudden it cuts, and he doesn't have his helmet on, and it cuts again, and he's got it on. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
I don't know what that is. Anyway. He's got another scene where him and Virginia Madsen are trying to get away. He goes over the bushes. She goes through them. And it's like, dude, Chad fucks. He was just a cool ass action star that didn't get.
He pops up this whole movie. It's like one scene will happen. And then like there's I forget. Oh, the scene where like, I think the teacher like attempts to hook up with Virginia Madsen. Now he doesn't. He's
doing that the whole movie.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Okay, so Chad doesn't live there. Like the whole thing they established in the beginning is that Virginia Madsen's going to have to keep a long distance relationship going with Chad.
Right.
So he doesn't live anywhere close to here.
I guess. But see, I thought
he just keeps popping up. like they have that scene where he like goes to hook up with Virginia Madsen. She doesn't let him do it. And then they walk out, and Chad's just outside smoking.
Right? Oh, that
like,
was
hi, nice running into you. That would be like if I ran into, you know what I mean? Like if you went downstairs to your apartment to like get your mail, and I was just like having a cigarette, and I was like, oh hey, what's up? Like,
dude,
what are you doing here? What do you mean? What am I doing here?
I'd be terrified.
Like, you don't live here? Like, what are you talking about?
But see, it makes so much more sense if he's at a different college, but. Now that I know that it is a high school, in fact, it's like, where is this place? Where is he? What's happening? I don't know. The other scene you reminded me where Chad fucks is where they're in the library. He appears again. All of a sudden, Julian comes walking behind, and Chad's like, oh, speak of the devil. And he stands up, and Julian talks some shit right in his face, and Chad just decks him in the mouth. Do you remember this?
Yeah,
but then he tops it off by grabbing Julian's face.
Well,
and
Julian just like eats it like a badass.
Yeah, he takes the punch really well, but Chad grabs after he does that. He grabs his face and just goes, "Aren't I immature?" And then like throws his head and storms out. I was like, dude, Chad fucks. So
I don't know
that was great to punch a guy in the face and then grab his face and say like, fuck you again, dude.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. That's all I want. I'm not a violent person, but if I'm ever next time I punch someone, I'm going to do that. I'm going to punch them and I'm going to grab their head.
Yeah. Chad didn't do it for me because he just pops up and there's a point where like he like does the move where he stays behind to fight people.
Yeah.
Like be like, you go on without me. I'm going to fight all these people.
Yeah.
Later on, like she runs into two other zombies and she's pretending to be a zombie. And she's like, what what happened to Chad?
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, oh, he's one of us now. I saw him over here. And she's like, oh. And then the rest of the movie happens. And then he just shows up at the end, not a zombie.
Well, but there's that scene, remember, in the wine cellar, which I wanted to talk about, this wine cellar, where she thinks he's after him and he's dressed like one of them.
Yeah.
And he has a flashlight and he bends down and goes, well, if it isn't Virginia Madsen. And she's like, yeah. And she pushes the whole shelf on him and he falls down. It turns out he was undercover. Like he was pretending to be one of them.
Yeah. He could have said,
which they don't really explain.
No, there's a lot of stuff in this,
which would have been fine. In the 80s, you didn't have to really explain anything, but you also had to, if you're going to call your movie Zombie High, you had zombies in it. You know, like you made up for the things that you didn't explain by giving us.
Yeah, man. Like look at House 2. House 2.
Sure.
They find like a whole pocket universe in a wall and don't really bother to explain it.
Right.
But it's fine. You don't have to.
Right.
You know,
because they give us cool shit.
Yeah,
dude. I'm so glad you brought up House. The other thing I forgot to mention in What'd You Watch? I watched this terrifying Christmas movie that is all about dogs, and it's the kind of, it's like the movie where it's like they have real dogs, but they'll move their mouth and talk.
Like Mr. Ed, or
kind of like that,
or like,
but it's CGI movement. It's CGI movement.
Okay, I think I know what movie this is.
I forget what it's called. Pup Santa, Bud Pup something. I don't know. But George Wendt plays Santa Claus. The reason for listeners, he's in House 1. Man, that guy is not okay right now. Like he's got like one of his eyes won't open all the way. He's like looks super old. I swear to God, I've never seen, people always joke. It's like, oh yeah, they just stood the so-and-so actor up and just filmed stuff around him. That's exactly what happens in this movie. And it was just really sad to see. I was like, holy cow. Anyway, back to Chad. But yeah, movies like House, those are 80s movies where it's like, they're bonkers, they're unexplainable, but they're awesome like, because they gave you everything that you wanted out of it. You know? Yeah.
A movie like House, you could even be like, someone wanted to make that. You know what I mean? Like whether it's like, hey man, I'm a special effects guy. I want to do a bunch of special effects and we're going to write a movie around it, whatever. Who wanted to make this? Like, did anybody want to make this? Like, why? The person writing it, were they like, I got a good idea. Like let's have these fucking people poke around a high school.
Exactly.
Like what for?
That's the thing. There's no idea here. What is the idea? Like, are you trying to make a movie about evil people at a high school that are turning people into zombies? Because you didn't. You kind of like, that's part of this. That's part of this. But are you trying to make a suspenseful love triangle story? You kind of did, but you didn't. You know, it's like an endearing teen.
Yeah, it's almost all those, but it's not any of them. And then and then at the end with the old men. Well, we can get there.
We're getting there very shortly. The other thing was the wine cellar, man. Did you notice all the hay on the floor?
Yeah.
Why is there hay?
I don't know.
So I know why. I have two reasons why. Okay. One, either it was an old cellar that had hay in it, and these guys were like, don't bother cleaning it up, in which case they're dickheads. The other reason is they came in and it was clean and they were like, hey, this needs some hay.
Yeah, we can't have it this clean.
Yeah, and
it's so supposed to be old, and
they sprinkled some hay on there. Why the fuck is there hay on the floor? I don't know.
I mean, it seemingly takes place in like Maine, I guess, or like upstate New York. It was
filmed in California.
Okay,
but I guess it could be anywhere that has high schools that look like colleges. I don't know.
I got excited for a second because the Chad has a Letterman jacket from Marist High School.
Oh,
which is a high school near us.
No shit.
I almost attended.
Oh wow! And it's the colors of Ohio, isn't it? The red and white.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was intended to be in. It obviously wasn't Ohio. Ohio doesn't look like that.
Again, like I'm sure not much thought was put into it. I'm sure it was like, let's just get a Letterman jacket. What's it say? Doesn't matter. Who gives a fuck?
How about this car chase?
Car chase. I laughed my ass off at this car chase.
The fuck comes out of it? The
whole
out of
movie nowhere.
Just changes.
The whole movie
just
is
changes.
Like running at like the whole movie is running at like 20 miles an hour. It's running at like okay, and then this car. It's not even the car chase itself is running like okay, and then she crashes the car, and you get a Mad Max style crash.
Yeah,
like you get this fucking crash
with like, two cars that explode. Like two cars. Of them.
and it's so funny. She's like driving. She's getting chased by, is it the cop? She's getting chased by the cop.
Yeah.
And she turns around to look, and then she turns back and sees like that there's a car stopped in front of her, and she goes to slam on the brakes. So it looks like she's gonna rear end the car.
Yeah.
But instead, the car just launches her like
ramp.
Yeah, like a ramp, like a full on Mad Max, and they both the cars fucking explode. Like,
and she's not even in her car at the end. It's like nobody's in it. And this cop, she's in the police station doing one of her Killer Clowns things where it's like there's people and they're scientists and there's zombies and whatever, and the cops are all just like, yeah, you're fucking crazy. Okay, fine, that's typical. But then all of a sudden she leaves happily and willfully, and the main cop decides to chase her. Why? I don't know.
Well, they do establish that like she's in there and she sees that he's got a degree from the high school.
Oh, I saw her looking at that piece of paper. Is that what that's is?
And she's like, oh, because that's another weird thing.
So he was one
police
of them.
Department. Yeah. So she's talking to the cops, and the one cop is like, so wait, what's going on? And she's like, they're lobotomizing the kids and this. And he's like, all right, I'll look into it. But there's another cop that says, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. He says something like that, like 4 times in the span of like 3 minutes. And I'm like, what is happening?
And all the cops are dressed like parking attendants. Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Weird. I noticed. I wonder what this movie costs to make. It made 20 grand. It made $20,000.
Yeah, you said 20,000.
Here, I'll give you the exact number right here.
That's beyond bizarre. 20,000, because that's like, even for the 80s, something makes $1 million. I mean, it just does.
Opening weekend, $12,165.
Did it only open in one theater?
I don't know. Worldwide gross, $21,905. Almost made that 22.
Yeah, that's so crazy, man. I was looking at like the posters. I could only really find like 2 or 3 posters. They had the balls to release a poster that had the title graphic is really cool. Zombie High looks great. On the main poster, it's like Virginia Madsen under that, and a guy who looks kind of blue, like a Romero zombie.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Okay, there's another one where they had the balls to do the same title graphic, but it's a art piece, and it's a straight up grizzled Return of the Living Dead zombie arm reaching out of the sewer, grabbing a woman's leg, and it looks awesome. But dude, come on, like that is.
Yeah, that's false advertising.
That is false advertising. Big time.
I love the quote that they use on this. There's 2 quotes that they use for the box.
Okay.
One is just entertaining ... So like clearly there was more sentence, and they literally just said the word entertaining somewhere. That's from the New York Post. And the other one is Virginia. They put this on the, usually put like a thrill ride or whatever. This says Virginia Madsen's fresh performance is accompanied by James Wilder's turn as her boyfriend. That's on the poster. That's from Variety.
They're just like stating facts.
Yeah, that's a plot synopsis. That's not like an endorsement. Like.
Is accompanied by her boyfriend.
That's like if the Ghostbusters. Yeah, that's like if the Ghostbusters poster said like Bill Murray performs like next to like Dan Aykroyd. It's joined by Dan Aykroyd in this whatever. Like, don't even put anything. What are you doing?
Oh my god, that is so amazing.
The entertaining cracks me up because they had to put the ellipses in.
It's not even an exclamation point. It's
just entertaining.
Dude.
I want to read the review in the New York Post now and see what they said.
I know we said that Siskel and Ebert did not review this, but the Tribune did, and it whoever was writing, I guess, and it just like I read some part of it, and it was just like I forget exactly what it said, but it was basically like fucking terrible. They're like, fuck this movie. The end of this is where you get, I talked about the youth serum in the beginning. It's basically this Illuminati led by the dean and then this Julian teacher, and they're all taking it, and that's how they're young. The old Illuminati with their young juice, they need to take this stuff in order to maintain their youth, which they're all old people. They're all old already.
Yeah, they're already old. They must not be doing this very often.
Either that or they were old when they found it. and so it like vampires. Oh shit, I totally forgot about. I'll finish this first thought. Anyway, we get the the zombie effect, or the only zombies really in the movie, when they run out of the juice. Basically, Virginia Madsen fucks up their plan, or no, the doctor sabotages it, right?
Yeah,
intentionally.
Yeah, he's the only one that can like do this too.
He's making the serum. Right?
Yeah, and they tell him like, it's funny because like, yeah, he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore. He doesn't want to do it to Virginia Madsen, and they're like, well, you have to. And he's like, well, I don't want. Like, right. He's holding all the cards.
Sure.
You know, so
and he gives them a placebo, right?
Yeah, he gives them all a fake one, and they all realize it right away. And
they're all sitting around this big table, all these old dudes. It looks like they're all injecting like heroin.
Yeah.
Because they each have a syringe, and they're like, I don't feel it. It's not working. And then from this point, this is like the last 10 minutes of the movie, they all start to get old, like deteriorate.
Yeah, they all like get old super fast.
It's not,
and they
gradual.
Look like zombies.
Yeah, and it's like, but the way that they do it is like, all right, you see them at the board table and they look a little older, and then all of a sudden they decide to, I guess, chase Virginia Madsen, and so it's cut, and then cut to they're like in the sewer or whatever, and they're kind of like bent over and old with like old makeup on, and then it's like cut again, and they're entering into the wine cellar, and that's all of a sudden they're all just zombies, like straight up like skulls, and the makeup was actually really cool.
It wasn't bad. I mean,
except that they forgot to put it on their hands.
Yeah, and
so they've all got young hands and old heads.
Yeah, and one thing they do is they pull a fucking One Night, or what was that movie? One Dark Night.
Yeah,
where there's just a Halloween decoration, like
they
skull
throw at her.
And she comes over and knocks it over.
Right.
Like, okay.
I posted that picture on the Patreon.
I know, I saw that.
It was like, man, you can clearly see that their hands have no makeup on, and they're like moving around, and their heads are skulls. It was just weird. So this movie is called Zombie High, and Virginia Madsen literally has a line in this movie when Julian Woods tells her about the crystal in his Miami Vice apartment. You know, he's like, yeah, I put crystals, and that's how I lobotomize them. She looks at him and she goes, that's just like vampires. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This movie is called this movie is called Zombie High, and never once do they say the word zombie, but they say the word vampires. Are you kidding me? Who is in charge? Who is in charge of this movie? I was dumbfounded, man. I was like,
I mean, nothing about the villains. I mean, they look like zombies for like 5 seconds, but like they're not zombies. They're just old. Like nothing.
If anything, the closest thing to a zombie are the kids that are being lobotomized. But
I guess, but even that's like more body snatchers.
Yeah.
Like it's more they live, you know, like
Sure.
it's just.
But like, if you're gonna literally write the word vampires into your script, call the movie Vampire High. But even
that would be even more infuriating.
Yeah, I know. It totally.
Like, but yeah, like they got I'm trying to think what's like, I guess it's like body snatchers, but like, yeah, exactly. Like Stepford Wives. It's more like that. And well, yeah. So she takes care of these guys, these old guys. They're running around. She kills them all or whatever. They set off the main like professor guy.
The dean.
Yeah. He, as he's dying, he sets off an alarm.
Yeah.
And it plays this. So apparently, and they figure out they've been playing this music, and it that's what controls them. They never get into it. They just say, "Oh, that's how we control them. We play this particular type of music."
It's a tape.
And, yeah,
it's a cassette tape.
And then Julian, they go over to Julian's place, and he's like, "This isn't so bad. I'm just gonna get old and die." And so he does.
But he says there's a secret tape that you need to play that will reverse kind of like the effect.
Oh, does he say that?
And
I know he says that
it's in his apartment under that, because remember, she like, there's like a statue bust, and I guess he tells her where it is. So she goes and gets the tape, but then she loses it in the chase. And when they
oh my God, that's what happens.
It's the whole key to like undoing this mess.
Well, then they get there and she doesn't have the tape. She's like, no, we got
the tape.
And this guy just throws in like a 80s rock and roll tape.
Chad goes, it's okay, man. I got a tape right here. And he even says it's like
he's like, it's a good tape.
It's a good tape.
Yeah.
And he puts it in, and it's
and
actually
it kills everybody.
Yeah,
it kills
it like
everyone.
explodes. It starts playing, and all the chips in people's heads explode.
And even they fuck that up too. Like it's like, okay, cool.
It looks
you know
like,
what?
dude,
If you're gonna have a movie where like, okay, well, at the end we're gonna kill like 60 people, whatever. Do Frankenhooker, man. Do like where they all have to explode, or do make it fun.
It's a great scene in Frankenhooker because it's all
it's
mannequin
the best
parts.
Scene in Frankenhooker.
It's all mannequin parts, and they're just like somebody's just throwing mannequin parts around the room.
Yeah.
In this one though, it's like it looks like a bunch of neck farts. It's literally like some kind of like
gas comes out of their neck.
Yeah,
and they don't even do anything fun with it, dude. Like make some of them at a convenience store, or like make whatever. Put them in weird situations, but they all are just all over campus, and they just fall over, and then the movie ends.
But it's like it's supposed to be like so. Like the music's playing, which is actually a really cool song.
Yeah, it sounds like the Ramones. I know it's not.
All the music was made by, I forget, they had it in the credits, but so it's the tape is playing on campus, but then didn't they show the president of the United States with the dog?
I
thought that's what you didn't see. There's like the presidential seal and a podium and a guard.
They do make a point. Oh, they make a point in the beginning of the movie to say that a president has gone there. I don't know if it was the president, but they've had.
It makes sense that this has reached, like these fingers of the Illuminati have reached into society.
Yeah.
But how are they hearing the tape from campus into the White House? I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, nobody cared because it doesn't. I mean, if you cared at all, any of these would be addressed. And then it just ends. And then it's just like, okay.
Well, it doesn't just end. It's a happy ending with Virginia Madsen and Chad riding off on a motorcycle, and then they turn into cartoons and get eaten by a cartoon sun that looks like something out of Teletubbies.
I mean,
I don't know what the decision.
I mean, they just killed all their friends too. Like, I mean,
they just killed all their friends. They just went through.
And if they wouldn't have lost the tape, they would have all just seemingly turned back and then.
I guess. Or would have, I don't know, maybe it would have exploded them too.
That's what I mean. Like, at least like the end of like Return of the Living Dead is like fun. Like this
was fun. That cartoon scene, like it was. But that's the weird part of it, man, is that it starts fun and then it gets super serious and it wants to be who knows what it wants to be. And then they decide to end it with this cartoon. And I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like,
yeah,
it was so bizarre, dude. It was so bizarre. Like this movie, it could have been, I didn't hate this movie. Not like,
no, it's not the worst.
Like,
it's not the worst by far
that we did or something like that. But man, so confusing about what it wanted to be. And if it had just picked one of those things, I think it would have been cool.
It really did feel like nobody wanted to, it felt like somebody wrote it because they had to write it. Somebody directed it because they got hired to direct it. Like nobody gave a shit.
It's frustrating though, because it started as a movie that I was like, oh, I'm going to tell my brother about this.
Yeah, it seemed like Paul Feig, like it seemed like a rip off of like John Hughes for sure. And then it ran out of gas. It like in all these different areas at once. And it was just lame.
So weird.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I don't think although that song at the end, I think it was called Kiss My Butt. Really good song. I'm gonna look that song up.
All right.
Final question.
Wasn't a bad song. Oh, you know what I wanted to bring up? I don't know if your version was like this, but I had two different versions. Like, was your audio like fucked up? Like,
I wrote a note about that.
It reminded me of like when I saw Interstellar, and I was like, I think something's wrong with the sound. And then like, because the music was playing over parts where people were talking.
That's exactly what.
And then I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, that was intentional because Christopher Nolan's like into sound design. Yeah, but that's how this was. Like the music was so loud, the sound levels were off.
Like, I totally wrote
the
that
whole
exact
movie
thing down.
There was a scene what is going on?
It was a scene with Paul Feig and Virginia Madsen, and I was like, cool, more Paul Feig dialogue. And there was music playing. And I'm like, what did he just say? I couldn't hear it.
It was like
weird.
They didn't. It was like the volume knob was broken.
Yeah.
For like they would play a song to establish the scene, and then
but it wouldn't go down.
But then it would stay at that volume the whole time while they were having dialogue, and then it would continue. And like, it was the weirdest thing. It felt intentional, but like,
it was just really, really poor mix, like sound mixing.
Maybe it's just old.
I don't know. I didn't think that. I think if you had watched it in the theater, it would have been the same way.
Too. Yeah. I mean, it must have been. Yeah. It was so weird.
Bizarre. I've never seen that happen.
I've never seen that in a movie before, besides Interstellar, when it was like on purpose at particular parts of the movie.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, it is.
I love that movie. Yeah, bizarre. Final questions?
Yeah, go for it.
Favorite line? It's like vampires. No.
Yeah, I don't even remember any lines.
I'm serious. I think that potatoes scene.
I'll give
like that was like a real like good writing and excellent delivery by Paul Feig. It was so disappointing that
I shit on Paul Feig because he fucking fucked up Ghostbusters, but like I don't have a problem with Paul Feig. In fact, I like he's in heavy. I think he's in Heavyweight. He's in movies. Like
I've never seen him as an actor. I don't think
he's in a bunch of kids movies.
Weird. Favorite character?
Paul Feig, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning. I don't know. It was either him or Chad Fox, but one of the two. I love a good hero who's like does stuff cool.
That's what I mean. Like if you were trying, like imagine if like Kevin Dillon's character in The Blob.
Yeah.
Like you could have do that.
Like, dude, the boyfriend in The Blob with the letter jacket?
Yeah.
The one that dies early?
Mm-hmm.
Him and Chad look almost identical. And they're both wearing
Letterman jackets.
Thing,
yeah.
Same colors and everything. I wonder if this, because The Blob was 88. I wonder if this is the origin story of that dude. And so after this, when he rides off on the motorcycle, he goes into the Blob universe and die. Dude, boom, my head just exploded.
Maybe.
Same guy. They were smart.
He just wandered into a better movie.
Yeah, seriously, and got killed. Worst character?
Oh, you know what? The roommate. The roommate annoyed me.
Which roommate?
The like sex crazed one. Like they do this all the time in these 80s movies. Yeah, okay. where they have a room. It's usually a roommate. It's not even a friend. And the roommate, if they're speaking, they're speaking about sex. You can't say, "Hey, where's Mike?" or like, "Where's this place?" without them talking about just like getting late. Like every line they have, and it happens all the time. Yeah.
Speaking of roommates, did you notice? So do you know who? So Paul Feig's roommate was already sort of a zombie guy.
Yeah,
remember him? He had his hair slicked back, looked like some kind of like Gordon Gekko kind of guy. Mm-hmm. Did you see the scene at the dance? Oh, we didn't even talk about the dance party.
We didn't even talk about that one guy who like seemingly was going to be a main character.
Which one?
The guy that gets dropped off. He's kind of like a cool guy, and then
the Bender character. Totally.
Yeah. Ooh, oh yeah. We didn't talk about that scene. Can we talk about this scene? He shows up to class. He doesn't have his fucking textbook.
Right.
And the teacher's like, he's like not paying attention. The teacher calls on him, and then he's like, "I don't have my book." And like, "You don't have your textbook?" He's like, "No." Okay, well, you can read off whatever. It's just back and forth with this student. Then he throws the book on the ground and won't pick it up. Like, this guy's a piece of shit. And then the next thing he's like, "I'm leaving this school and never coming back." And you're like, good, fucking leave, you dickhead. Like, what are you even doing here?
That guy, the character, it's weird because
they set him up like a main character, and then
right. Speaking of the Blob, it's almost like they did the reverse because he's kind of like the Kevin Dillon character, and then you've got Chad, who's like the other dude that died early, but they're like switched roles. Yeah, he was a waste of a character,
and it's smart to do that in the Blob because it's role reversal. It's like, oh man, the guy who seemed like the main character is getting,
and then he ends up being like super smart. And able to speak Latin and all this stuff. He just decides to be. He chooses.
I don't think he did speak Latin. I think that was just a fucking shitty comeback.
But then right after that, Virginia Madsen follows him to the cafeteria and says something like blah blah blah, and he's like, "I know all this shit. I just hate being here because my dad wants me to be a fascist."
Says his dad's a fascist, and it's like.
So he's like that dude who's like super smart, but he's being intentionally a dickhead, whatever. But the roommate, Feig's roommate, so he looks like Gordon Gekko.
Yeah.
There's a scene at the dance party where he turns his head to the side and he's got this man bun back here. Mm-hmm. And it's like totally out of character. Like the dude has short, slick back hair, but it's like they either couldn't get an actor with short hair, or this actor refused to cut his hair. And so they tied it up in the back and tried to hide it throughout the whole movie. But there's a scene where he tilts just a little bit. You see this like big bunch of hair back there. It's hilarious.
It's awesome.
But dude, that dance party, right, with Luther Vandross all of a sudden is like with his band and stuff. What was that? Like,
oh yeah, and then like
and the zombies are kind of dancing, but not.
Yeah, Chad goes to the girlfriend, or Chad goes to the roommate and says, "You got to sneak me." He doesn't know about any of the zombie shit yet, like at all, or he doesn't know that Virginia Madsen's like Scooby doing it on the other end of the campus. Like he's just like, "You got to sneak me into the dance," and she's like, "Okay, why?"
I think it's just because at that point he had decked Julian in the face.
Yeah, but why is he even still want to be at this school? And then that's the other thing. She breaks up with him. Like the scene where he's smoking, and then like they break up. He goes, "You know what? You want him? You got him." And she's like, "Oh, come on." And then that's like they break up. Literally the next scene, he's in the library. Or no, she's in the library, right? And he comes up and they're like, and they break up again. Like,
well, but he came back to apologize.
Yeah, but this whole scene was clunky. Like it was like, well, you just broke up. What are you guys doing?
It was extra clunky because it's where he fucking clunks Julian in the face. Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, like he just appears. It's cool, whatever. There's no explanation. He's just there. He's at the dance.
Especially, it's a high school. Shouldn't he be at his own high school?
Oh, they say, remember she calls the mom. She calls him and the mom answers, remember? He says after the dance, when he actually literally bumps into Virginia Madsen, he's like, "I got your message from when you called my mom. And that's why I came." So that's why he's at the dance. He's like undercover at the dance. The dance scene, it's the dance itself. I was what the hell is happening? They could have turned it. It's a real band. And it's like there's Luther Vandross is playing his music. And then they cut to show the zombies standing there kind of moving.
Mm-hmm.
They could have really turned it into like a thriller scene.
They could have done anything. Like
they could have done
literally anything would have been cool. And they do nothing.
They do nothing. Ridiculous. Did we say worst character? Oh, did you say Twin Peaks?
Yeah, I said Twin Peaks.
I think Julian Woods was the worst. I hated his face.
Oh yeah, he's fucking 17-year-old. That's like Twilight, except at least the Twilight guy looks like he looks like a high schooler.
Yeah.
God, that's the stupidest thing in the world. It makes no sense. The Twilight thing. Why would you keep going back to high school?
Are they in high school for like 7 movies?
No. They're only in high school for 1.
Oh, you're talking about the vampires keep going back to high school.
Well, yeah, he's like, he looks 18, so he keeps going to high school. Why wouldn't you just say, "Nah, I'm 19. I'm not in high school. I don't have to keep going to a new high school every year." What the fuck is he doing?
Dude, it's Twilight, right? So,
yeah, plus he's like 300 years old and she's 17. Have you ever talked to a 17-year-old?
Oh yeah, I dated one.
Yeah, but you were 21. Like I can't.
Yeah, there's no conversation to be had.
No, and you imagine just being 300. She's bitching about.
What are we talking about?
I've talked to like 22-year-olds and they're talking about Facebook, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And
Jesus Christ, that is such a dumbass concept. Those movies, merch.
I want to say Arrow. It's either Arrow or no. You know what? I think it's Shout Factory. They put out like a special edition Blu-ray of it last year.
Why even bother? I guess
I don't know. I'd like to see what's on it.
They just both those companies probably if they own an IP.
They probably got a bunch. They probably got a bunch of properties in like a big
It's like why not use
package?
Somebody out there likes this movie.
I mean, maybe it's like a Chud situation. Even though Chud's a good movie, the commentary track on Chud is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And it's Daniel Stern and John Hurd and the director just kind of making fun of the movie and being like,
this would be a movie where I'd like some insight. I wonder if you get it, if there even is a commentary track.
Well, let's see.
I wonder if you would get the insight that you want, or if the guy would just be like, "Oh yeah, so here's where we did this and we did that then and blah blah blah." Is that where you on Amazon? Is that where you?
It's on Amazon, the Blu-ray.
Oh, okay. If there was a sequel to Zombie High, would they go back to high school? Like Edward? Is it Edward Cullen?
Yeah, in Twilight.
How the fuck do I know that?
I don't know. It's a very popular
Cullen. That's his name.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen Harry Potter, and I know who Hermione Granger is.
I like Harry Potter. Those are good movies.
Oh, can I ask something about that? I was wondering about this. So I saw half of the first one like 15 years ago.
Okay.
And he lives under the stairs with that family.
Right.
You know, and they treat him like shit.
Right.
And then he goes to Hogwarts like all school year, right? Or all summer.
Yeah, basically.
And so when he's not at Hogwarts, does he have to go back and live with that shitty family?
He's back under the step.
Really? It's hilarious. Is that true? They don't.
I don't know. He does go. Yes, he does go back with the family when school is not in, and it's kind of I'm not a Harry Potter expert by any means. All I know is that she ripped off Harry Potter from Troll. I'm pretty sure, and I've seen all the movies; they're great. But I'm pretty sure when school's not in session, he has to go back and live with the family. But the family gets killed. I'm pretty sure in the second movie or the third movie. I think it's the third one. And it turns into a situation where he eventually finds a different place to live or stays at the school or something. Because 3, if you haven't seen these movies, man, they're great. 3 is where it really turns. They introduce Gary Oldman's character, and he kind of wants to take care of Harry Potter. And I think he either finds him a family or something happens there. I'm not an expert, but I know that eventually he does have to go back to the family and live under the steps. And then at some point he doesn't have to. So
because I've only seen part of the first one.
But yeah, man, it's like it's fucked up because it's like, you know, he's living under the stairs and then he goes to this awesome wizard school.
Well, yeah, he's like the chosen one, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like a big deal.
But then you're watching this awesome thing happen for this kid, and then he has to go back under
he has to go back and live under the stairs with these fucking abusive parents.
Yeah, and they're shitty, and somebody kills him. One of the evil people kills him off, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I think it's what's the British chick that's in all the Tim Burton movies?
Helena Bonham Carter?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's her that ends up killing them all.
I didn't know she was in these movies.
Dude, everybody is in these movies. Like, name an actor. Just name one. Not George Clooney.
Paul Rubens.
He's probably in there somewhere. I don't know. You'd be surprised, dude. If there was a sequel, yeah, they'd go back to high school because that's what you do when you're a vampire. Siskel and Ebert didn't do it. I don't blame them.
I couldn't even find they might have made up that New York Post article because I couldn't find it.
You mean the Tribune article?
No, the one that made
the one really
entertaining. And the other one is from Variety. It's literally synopsis.
I bet it was something like, this movie is not entertaining. Oh man. All right. Well, that is dude, that's the alphabet. That's Z. Zombie high. Letter Z. How do you feel? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I got the extras.
Oh, really? You found them?
In tradition with this movie, the only extra on the disc itself is a minute-long theatrical trailer.
Holy shit, man.
Like,
nobody cares.
Could have done. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. I want to know, man, if somebody is listening to this, you know, eventually there's probably going to be about, I don't know, if somebody's listening to this and you're a fan of this movie, like not like you've been a fan of this movie for at least 1 year, I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think. Who like it's okay if you are. I just want to know.
Yeah. I just
want to know what is happening. What is it? What's going on? Why? All right. So next week we've got our Ghostbusters extravaganza. We're going to talk about 84, 89, 2016, 2021, the Ghostbusters cartoon, and anything else we can dig up. Then the following week is going to be our awards show for all the movies that we've watched throughout the alphabet. After that, that'll actually probably bring us into like right around Christmas or like right before like December. So we'll figure that out as we get to it, and then we'll look forward to season 2.
Yeah.
Leave us a review on iTunes. I didn't check them today. Last week we were 1 away from 10 reviews, and when we hit 10, we're giving away the Demon Knight Blu-ray that is right now being used as a pacifier for Kevin's kids so they don't scream while we're recording.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, if you want to get in touch with us on social media, you can find us on Twitter at DBP Podcast. You can find us on our hub, Instagram at Death by Podcast. It's where we post most of our stuff. If you want to support the show directly, you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/deathbypodcast, where we have our bonus mini podcast, BoobTube TV. I will post pictures on Instagram about these cool new stickers that we got, BoobTube stickers. You can get all that stuff. There's sticker packs on Patreon as well, behind the scenes. So you get to see like Kevin's mini fridge where he keeps all his LaCroix. That's on patreon.com/deathbypodcast. And I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything?
No, I think that's it.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you all. A big thank you for all our listeners. If you made it through with us through the whole alphabet, that's a feat in and of itself. So thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. I think I speak for both of us when I say we enjoy and have a blast talking about these shitty movies that we love.
Yeah.
And until next week, go watch Ghostbusters. Because it'll be spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna have spoilers.
We don't hold back. So if you want to listen with us next week, go watch Ghostbusters sometime this week. I am your host, Adam. That is your other host,
Kevin.
It's Miller time. Kevin, take it away, son of a bitch. That was a good one. That was James Woods, not his brother Julian Woods, that was in this movie. Thank you all for being here. We will talk to you later.